Good. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our little informal instructors meeting. This won't take too long and it won't be too painful, hopefully. But we're going to do just a couple things. One is we're going to do an introduction, have each of you introduce yourself and give a minute or two of your topic for the upcoming certification program. We're going to talk for a few minutes about the roles of instructors in helping us develop the multiple choice examination, which is always appreciated, and it's an important part of this course. And then we'll talk about a few timetables, and then that'll be it. I don't think we'll be together for more than 45 minutes. And I know we have some people that had conflicts, travel conflicts or whatever. And so there will be notes sent out after this session. But first, I want to introduce Lawton Harp to you. She is my right arm on all of our stuff. And she makes these webinars work. And she's been a great team member. I think we've worked together for about 5 years now, Lawton, it seems like. And so Lawton, do you want to say anything about the Zoom platform and how people are going to interface, or what your plan is for that?
Yeah, I mean, I assume everybody's very familiar with that. I usually open up the class about 20 minutes before. And so hop on at that time if you want. Go ahead and get your slides up, your slide deck up, so we can test it and make sure your audio works, your slide deck looks beautiful, it's on the right screen. So just plan on hopping on if you want, like 15-20 minutes before. And if you want, email me your slide deck before or after your presentation, because I always upload it to the remote learner. But those are the two things. And if you have any other questions, any other additional resources you want to have on the remote learner, just contact me, email them to me, and that'd be great.
Great. Thank you, Lawton. As always, your help is appreciated. So here's what I thought we would do. I'll just go down the agenda for the program. And so it'll be chronological in the sense of your appearance in the program. So the first name up is Ken D'Entremont from the University of Utah out in Salt Lake City, who's going to do a piece on ethics in engineering. And I don't think Ken is with us. I think he's in class right now, if I'm not mistaken. So, and then our second panelist is Michael Stanley, who is from Canada. He's a consultant and does work in the innovation area. And he's going to be talking about project management as part of a company culture and how you handle project management. And I think that's a topic most of us are familiar with. And next on our agenda is Steve Eppner, who is with us. And Steve, I was just talking with earlier. Steve has been a partner of ADK's since 2009. And so we go back quite a ways, and he's been an important part of our ADK history. So Steve, thanks for being with us again. And if you want to introduce yourself in a couple sentences on your work.
So I teach at St. Louis University now. I flunked retirement a number of times. I love interacting with people. I'm a geek by training. I can still hold a punch card up to the light and read the holes in it. Not very valuable anymore, but it's a skill I learned back in the 60s when I started programming. And, you know, I just do things that seem to be fun. And one of the things we will do, this is sort of a soft skill. We'll talk about communications and working with people. And everybody gets a free copy of my book, which is Simplify Everything. Get your team from do to done. And in fact, Don, all the instructors should probably get one in advance just in case they want to read it. No,
yes.
No homework assignments, but it's there. And for fun, I'm a member of the IBM, which is the International Brotherhood of Magicians. So I can quickly make myself disappear if I have to.
Very good. And with respect to your topic, is there anything you want to point out or share?
It's all about understanding people, how to read people. A lot of it's based on work by a guy named Adizes, who wrote a book on corporate life cycles, which I have found to be extremely valuable in my consulting life. And so I try to make things very simple for people to understand, and I give them ways to immediately practice what we're talking about.
Very good. So let me bring up my agenda again. Don Moffat is traveling today. I think he's in the UK, if I'm not mistaken. Our next presenter then is Meg Hughes, who has been with us on a number of programs, and she's our chemicals person. If you need any information about chemicals, she's right there. Hi, Meg.
Hi, how you doing, Don?
Good.
I'm with Bureau Veritas, testing, consulting, inspection company, and I've been with them for almost 35 years now in a variety of different positions. So I'm going to, right now, I am the analytical consulting specialist for the technical services area within BV, and I help with the interpretation and implementation of regulations within client programs and our default position. So I'm going to cover a case study setting up chemical restrictions within client programs. So I'm going to talk about all the different factors to consider when setting up a chemical restrictions program, and a couple case studies giving some examples of if you're selling certain products, whether it's children's product, maybe children's clothing, children's furniture, distributing in the US and Canada, what kind of regulations you should consider putting into your program and how to put them in your program, whether it's testing, documentation, how often, and all the factors to consider.
Very good. Well, welcome back. And I know you're going to play an important role in this program. I see Don Moffat has joined us. We're glad to see you, Don.
Yeah, sorry for being late. Got caught up on an emergency work call, so apologize.
There you have it. So do you want to just do a short introduction and tell people exactly, the general topic that you're going to handle?
Sure. So Don Moffat, I've been involved in the program for 11 years now, Don.
Yep.
11, 12,
Yep.
Since very start, and very glad to be able to support the program. The topics that I typically cover on this is around product safety risk assessments. So I go into a little bit of the background about why just complying with regulatory standards is not sufficient, why you have to actually do more in order to ensure product safety and avoid recalls. And then I go into a little bit of details of not only the why, but then the how, getting into some details of how to conduct a product risk assessment, everything from doing a data analysis, conducting foreseeable use, and then doing a hazards analysis and walking through some of the details around each one of those steps for an overall product risk assessment. So high level.
Don is very engaging with our students. He teaches by example. He has his little kit of products that he does a quick risk assessment on that is always informative and very engaging. Rick Rosati was scheduled to meet next, and I think, Meg, he's on a personal day off or something like that. So we won't have Rick this morning. But next up, somebody who we will have is Rick Kahana from the CPSC. And Rick has been with the program for a number of years, and he really is very informative because he comes out of the agency and can give people some insight into how the agency looks at the whole risk assessment process. And we do surveys after every program, and And Rick is regularly given very high ratings because of the perspective that he brings. And he's a good down-to-earth presenter. Rick? I see him by name. I don't see his face. So maybe he will connect. I don't think we're connecting with him. Okay, so maybe he seems to be online, but I'm not seeing his information. So let's just maybe come back to him. Jacqueline Campbell, also from the CPSC. And I see a couple of phone numbers up there, and I'm not sure whose numbers they are. I can't tell, but I don't know that Jacqueline is on. So now that group was going to cover our risk assessment portion of the program, and getting into the regulatory area and regulatory compliance. Boaz Green, who is with the Neil Cohn Law Firm in Washington, D.C. Boaz was formerly with the CPSC and actually was on the staff of one of the commissioners for a number of years. I'm not sure Boaz is on with us. But I do know that our next presenter is on with us, and that's Mike Gentine, who is with Keller and Heckman. And Mike has been a regular presenter for us in the area of regulatory trends and sharing some insight. And he, like Boaz, has a strong CPSC background before joining Keller and Heckman. Rick? I'm sorry, Mike.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. And yeah, as Don says, I've been around the block a little bit and very, very happy to be rejoining this august group. And yeah, I'll be talking about regulatory trends. So, what CPSC's priorities have been, what CPSC has been active in over the recent months and a couple of years, specifically with the arrival of 2 new commissioners and perhaps a third by the time this presentation rolls around. So I'll be looking forward to letting folks know what's going on in Bethesda and what we can expect to see coming in the near future. Great.
Well, I know you've done a great job in engaging people in your work, so we'll look forward to that. Let me circle back. I see Rick Kahana's name flashing before me again. Rick, are you on? No, he's still.
He seems to be trying to connect to audio, so he's
Yeah.
having some problem.
Yeah, he's just connecting with the audio. So Brian Grotchall, who is with DocuTalk and going to be talking about compliance planning and technology, is traveling today. And Rod Freeman from the UK, who's going to do a piece on international law, will join us. We had him on earlier this week with our fundamentals group, which is now meeting, and he was in Australia, so it was 1 o'clock in the morning when he presented after getting off of an airline, and so I think he's still resting. But very much with us next is Brandon Muller from Hush Blackwell in St. Louis, Missouri. Brandon's firm has been a great help to the Society of Product Safety Professionals, providing pro bono help since the founding of the society going back to 2017. Brandon, welcome.
Hey, Don. Hi, everyone. Don said, my name's Brandon Miller. I'm with law firm Hush Blackwell. I chair our product liability and mass tort group, and also our product safety group. My practice is one, frankly, I love. We get to work with, we're regional national counsel for a number of companies, kind of on the whole life cycle of their products. We help them develop, we do warnings and instructions, we do recalls and investigations, and then when those products are challenged, we help defend them either in court or before regulators or otherwise. So it's a great job, stuff that you all are all familiar with. And so it's an honor to be able to present with all of you. And thanks to Don and everyone for inviting me to be a part of it. My presentation's one that I think's a lot of fun, is great. We talk about how to conduct product investigations, and also how you can take those product investigations and look at them from the standpoint of looking at your documentation as part of your compliance program. Do you have the documents you want? Are you keeping them? Are you generating them? So we start out just looking at how do you do a investigation, which for this group will be more high level. We do a more fundamentals one for the other course, but with these types of folks, they're already familiar with it, and frankly, it's great. I always take something away from it. It feels good because the people, we encourage conversation for that, and there's always ideas from these. These are folks that have done it a long time, and they have good ideas, and there's a good discussion that goes on both sides of it, both the investigation part and the documentation part. So thanks again for the invite, and looking forward to hopefully meeting you all in person.
Great.
If we haven't
Let me circle back and pick up Will Troutman, who's going to close out the regulatory section of the program, and in an area that's increasingly important to every product safety professional, and that is state level and non-federal regulatory compliance. Will, welcome back.
Hi, good to see you all. I'm Will Troutman. I'm a partner at Norton Rose Fulbright law firm. I'm based in Los Angeles. Everything Brandon said applies to my practice with the gloss of California, which is part of the reason I'm here, because California is such a difficult state to be operating in. But my program covers excuse me, how state regulatory programs kind of interact, state and local regulatory programs. So part update and content on what is out there, but from Prop 65 through PFAS regulation and so on. And I think PFAS will be the new big concern for everybody, but also how to think about those laws, how they interact from a risk and compliance program perspective. So what ends up tending to happen, though, is that it turns into just a discussion of Prop 65 with the attendees asking lots of questions about that.
Great,
so,
thank you.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thank you. We appreciate having you there. Our next presenter is Derek Snadoff from Deloitte. I don't think Derek is on. Derek and his associate Libby Roop are going to talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning, which is, as many of you know, is a increasingly critical topic for the product safety field, among other fields. They will be followed by Steve Hall, who I don't think is on this call, but Jared France, who is on this call. And not only is he on the call, but he's a graduate of ours, and we're proud of it. And Jared, welcome.
Thanks, Don. You stole my lead in. I was going to start with, I'm a former student. So yeah, I took two of the certification classes, I think back in 2014, the regulatory compliance, and then the I think the advanced product safety management one. Anyway, yeah, Steve is he's based in California, so it's a bit early for him, and he was in Boston yesterday at trial, so he's, I think, getting some much needed rest. But at any rate, good morning, everyone. If you happy to be with you guys. My background is I'm at Applied Safety and Ergonomics, a Rimkus company. I'm a product safety consultant there. My day-to-day is helping manufacturers with all kinds of safety concerns they bring us, whether that's sort of pre-market or also in cases of forensic and litigation issues. I moonlight as a teacher or a lecturer at the University of Michigan Engineering Department, where I teach safety management. And so, what Steve and I are going to cover, we've been bouncing some ideas back and forth, but in general, we want to try to address and bring in some human factors considerations into all things product safety. In particular, he and I are intrigued by sort of the philosophical ideas of what something means to be safe. And so I think we're kind of going to be talking about that. Obviously we've got, regulatory and sort of standards minimums for performance and things like that. But we've also got, how is society going to judge the acceptability of certain risks? And to the extent we can anticipate how the strategy that has been employed to manage hazards and risks going to be received, perhaps after the fact, or to what extent we can rely on users to manage certain hazards or other authorities within the sort of the product use space. So that's sort of a brief introduction, but really looking forward to the webinar series this summer.
Great. We're looking forward to having you, Jared. So this takes us to the product recall section, and Chris Harvey's going to lead us off on that. Chris, would you say hello?
Thanks, Don. Hello to everyone. So yeah, I'm going to be focusing on recalls, and I'm with Cedric now. If you knew Stericycle, Cedric acquired Stericycle's Expert Solutions division. So I'm the SVP of Client Services. So I run our implementation team, and we work across all industries. So not just consumer product, but pharma, med, automotive, food and beverage, et cetera. And we focus on recall readiness for our clients, and then implementation and execution of recalls from a global standpoint. So I'll focus my presentation on recall readiness and recall planning. I did just do a webinar last week on recall plans with SBSB and received a lot of good feedback and questions post webinar. So I definitely want to focus in on that and some of the things we see companies missing within their recall plans. And then really focus on just practical guidance of implementing and operationalizing a recall for a company. And I'll focus a lot on, some of the pitfalls that I see and how do you navigate, recalls now, especially, throughout and post pandemic. But I do want to focus on some of the global nuances with execution as well, because a lot of times US-based companies, think a recall is going to be exactly the same globally, and it's not. So they have to understand a lot of the differences associated with that. So that's kind of the summary of what I'll be speaking about. And thanks for having me again, Don, and look forward to it.
Great. I see Rebecca Sharp's phone number, I think.
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yep, I had trouble getting into the webinar or the Zoom link itself, so I thought I'd call.
Oh, great. Well, thank you for doing that. You're very innovative.
No problem.
Rebecca has been with our program for many years and made a terrific contribution over those years. Would you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I'm also a former student of some of the courses that Don has been organizing. So I am Rebecca Sharp. I'm the Director of Product Safety and Compliance at Best Buy. And my session will go over kind of a deep dive on how the sausage is made when a recall is announced or when you're preparing for it, and working with the vendor, manufacturer, shipping, all of those things that need to go into implementing a recall from the retailer perspective. So that's what I'll be doing.
Great, great. And then our keynote closer is David Kosnoff from Hasbro. I don't think David is on this call. But David shares some of the experiences that he went through during the year of recalls, 2007 and 2008, as many of you will recall. And he was with Mattel at the time. And of course, that period was primarily about lead in toys and in paint, and it involved many different companies. But he has real insight into the challenges of crisis management. And that was indeed not just a company crisis, but an industry-wide crisis. So that's our group of instructors. And Lawton asked me to make sure you know that this video is being recorded and will be available to, and I'm going to put out some notes after this meeting. So for those instructors who were not able to join us, can see what took place during this meeting. The next topic I wanted to talk about just briefly, because there will be some follow-up information on this, is it has to do with the nature of this program. This is an assessment program as much as an information and knowledge program. It differs from all the other programs that we do, however, because the assessment portion of this involves three things. One is a multiple choice examination. The second thing is a personal essay that is presented by the candidates on the day of that assessment workshop. And then the third is a case study requirement that everybody has to deliver. And they deliver it in two formats. One is a written case study, and then the second is a presentation of that written case study that they deliver to a panel. We have 2 or 3 panels, each interviewing 3 or 4 different candidates. And all of that is graded, and individuals need to pass each of these assessments. And if it sounds rigorous, it is rigorous. This is not an easy pass program. But we have a record of, over the years, of about 75% of the candidates taking this course end up passing, and then 25% do not. It's unfortunate when somebody doesn't pass, but it's also a reflection of the fact that when you do pass and carry this credential with you, it has some legs to stand on. And the role of the multiple choice examination in the assessment is very important. And that is because it delivers one of the key elements that we are shooting for in this program, and that is a demonstration of knowledge. And the knowledge that they're going to be demonstrating has to do with all of the topics that you are presenting to the group. And so we ask instructors to participate, and many of you know this already from previous participation, but to participate in the development of questions covering your individual presentation. And further, that the responses, the correct responses to these questions are embedded in your actual presentation slides. So this is not a got you kind of thing. The material is right up there, it's right up front, and those webinars will be videoed like this webinar, and students will be able to refer back to that when they prepare for the examination. So, and there is an art to developing questions. We follow the Vanderbilt School of Education has a format for developing what they call constructing a multiple choice question. And in our case, it is a question or a statement with a blank in it that is followed by 4 possible answers. All plausible, but only one is correct. And so as I say, many of you have already done this exercise before, but the field, it changes in terms of knowledge and understanding because our society changes. And there's more technology related to our program now than was the case 5 years ago. We're living in a smart world of appliances and communications, and that is reflected in the work that product safety professionals have. So in any event, there will be a guide circulated after this webinar that'll give you some top line guidelines that we hope you'll be able to follow. And we'll work with you on an individual basis to make sure that you're comfortable with the questions and that they're consistent with the format that we are after. So that's the multiple choice part of the assessment that you will be critical to in terms of helping deliver it. We have some timetables then I wanted to mention. And there's three timetables in particular. One is related to the question, multiple choice question. And we hope to have your questions. We're looking for 5 questions. And if it's 4, that's okay too. But we're looking for questions from you all by May 27th. So that hopefully that'll be close enough to the program that your presentations will be finished. And in many cases they will be, but in some cases they won't be. But our shoot for date is May 27th to get, so we can get started on the building of the multiple choice examinations. A second deadline, some instructors like to share an advanced reading assignment with the class. And we only ask for 1 assignment because we have 19 instructors. And that's a lot. That's a big number of instructors. And we don't want to overload people in terms of advanced reading assignments. But if you are interested, please feel free to share 1 advanced reading assignment that you would like to introduce into the mix. And those advanced reading assignment, that information would be appreciated by May 15th. And again, that will be shared with you. And then finally, our registration is still open, and we're looking for referrals through May the 10th. And if any of you have individuals that you want to recommend to the program, we would welcome that. We are without a university partner this year because of our work at SLU, and a new dean came into the School of Business last year, and every dean brings their own priorities. And Dr. Kwan, who has been very close to our program, retired from the university 2 years ago. And so he was no longer there. He has been our academic face and a wonderful mentor to many of us. In any event, our in-house advocate is gone, a new dean comes in, and we didn't have a place at the table, as they say. And so we weren't included in the priorities for this year. That's the way things go. I want to share with you, though, that we are in discussions right now with a major university to move the certification program to. We are still doing the final stages of that, and I can't really formally announce it. But we also are changing our overall strategy, SPSP and ADK. And the learning that we took away from the St. Louis University situation is that business concentration is not healthy. And all of our programs were under the SLU umbrella. We are instead now in discussions with 5 different universities around the country, starting with the East Coast and coming into the Midwest and going out to the West Coast. And we will do different programs with each of these institutions. And we're very excited about it because there continues to be a role for professional education in many of the major institutions. And some of them have formats that are just made for us. And we're in discussions with schools like that. And so this is going to be a year of identifying our university partners with a plural, an S at the end, that will be with us for years to come. And we're very excited about that and look forward to making some announcement through the years as we finalize these arrangements. But they are all major university, in some cases, top 10 universities in their field, including engineering schools. And so it's going to be a very interesting transition. And on the other side, we're going to look different, but we think we're going to look more interesting too, both from an instructor standpoint and a student draw standpoint. So in any event, any help you can give us on adding referrals to this year's program will be appreciated. And with that, I think I've covered everything that we have. There will be a course manual completed before the start of the program that'll have biographies of students and your biographies as instructors with contact information. And those become very valuable tools for the course. And we hope that almost all of you are open to having contact with the students after your presentations, which we appreciate, making yourself available. And these manuals are their reminder of who you are and how you contributed to their own education. So with that, are there any questions that people have that we could respond to, or if we don't have the answer, we can get it at the right time?
And Don, quick question. I think
Yeah.
you mentioned this already, but are these 2-hour sessions?
They are up to 2 hours. You will have some leeway. We're going to, the timing of the webinars is they will be held once weekly. And on some days we'll have 2 webinars, one in the AM, one in the PM. We have a start time. We don't put a conclusion time, but normally our instructors work within a framework of an hour to an hour and a half. So don't feel your feet are to the fire to produce a 2-hour presentation. On the other hand, if your name is Don Moffat, you like 2 hours. Don has a lot to say and he could say more, but some are, they're comfortable with their topics. They deliver quality information. And they can do that in a 60 or 90-minute format as well. So we don't want to tie your hands, and we'll leave that up to you.
Thanks.
Okay, that's a great question though, Chris. Thank you so much. Okay, well, there will be follow-up notes coming out. And again, this is our 12th year of offering these courses. And from the side of we who are the administrators, it's been a lot of fun over these 12 years. We have done more than deliver education through these programs. We have delivered a network of people that have these credentials of completing these programs, getting certificates, and they're proud of that. And we have celebrated this every year at ICFSO with a reception for our instructors and our students. We haven't, unfortunately, been able to do that the past couple of years because of the pandemic, but we look forward to doing that in the future. And so we've created a community that is bonded through this experience. And believe me, when we started out, that wasn't the goal. The goal was to deliver education. And I hope we've done a good job of that. And the fact that many of our companies that have sent people to the programs continue to send them year after year. And that has, to us, been the most important report card that we have, that we're doing okay. Although we're always aware of areas that we can improve in, and we look for those areas every year. That's why we do a survey after every course to learn what we can learn. In any event, thank you very much. It's now 41 minutes since we've been on this call, and I want to keep it under 45 as we promised. And we will be in touch. and we will be talking with you and working with you over the next 3 months, and really appreciate the opportunity and enjoy the relationship that we have with each of you. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks. Have a good day.